Welcome back, Trinidad and Tobago. Well, the Trinidad and Tobago Youth Convention opens today, the second one of this nature. It's being held at the UWI SPEC, and it's the forum for youth to give their views and make suggestions on solutions to the challenges faced here in our Twin Island Republic. Nikoli Edwards is the Vice Chairperson Policy, Advocacy and Projects for the Commonwealth Youth Council, and no stranger to us here. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning, I'm fine, thank you.
Now, tell us a little bit about what is expected today. What is on the agenda for today?
Now, today we intend to have a program that really engages, inspires, and empowers young people, because we think that is the kind of engagement that needs to be done. That you not only have conversations with young people, but you use whatever medium or whatever forum to inspire and to empower, to leave young people in a better position where they can now go out there. They have the agency and authority to seek out their own development and assist in the development of the country as a whole. So it's really that space where we have outstanding young people coming, sharing their stories, sharing their experiences, and saying that, you know, sometimes that you will encounter challenges along the way, but there are means and ways to get over that. And that is what we need more than ever, not even just only among young people, but as the country as a whole, because we're going through economic hardship right now. We're going through challenges when it comes to crime and violence and so many other aspects in society, but we need a glimmer of hope, and this is what the Trinidad and Tobago Youth Convention hopes to present to the young people of this country.
Now, you talk about empowerment. It's a meeting where you get to sit and discuss issues, you share ideas, but do you think it's effective having it just once per year?
We would love to have it more than once a year, but obviously the challenges are financial and otherwise. Now, when you look at the amount of funding or support we would have received last year as compared to this year, it's a 75% decrease in terms of the assistance we would have been able to receive. Thankfully, the University of the West Indies was able to provide a space for us free of charge. RBC came back on board this year and is assisting us, and we have Atlantic LNG. But for the most part, support, funding, assistance, it has been a challenge across Trinidad and Tobago in every sector. But we feel as though in times such as this, we needed to be able to invest in our young people, because they are the ones who are to take up those positions of leadership. We must provide succession planning. We must give them the kind of support they need to pick up roles in society that would benefit all of us.
Now, you know, you talk about youth and empowerment of young people, and it's being held at UWI, but my question is, who is it open to? Is it open to youth throughout the country? Is it people from Enterprise? Like yesterday, we had a member from Enterprise coming in and talking about youth empowerment in that area. Is it open to everyone?
Yeah.
Who is invited?
So we've opened it up to every young person in Trinidad and Tobago. The definition of a youth, according to the Commonwealth, is 15 to 29. However, in Trinidad and Tobago, our definition of a youth is 10 to 29. We have made this opened to every young person. We have sent out invitations to secondary school, so we're hoping for a good turnout. And then one asked the question, why should this be taking place on a Friday or during the school term? What we've recognized is that, yes, we've had it last year during the vacation, and we had a good turnout, but we feel as though schools can lend their support by ensuring students come to the event. Transportation is provided, because sometimes those little things matter in terms of a young person reaching where they need to be to get the kind of information. And this can be something as a school they can go back and discuss the things that they heard and work on projects and initiatives to really bring forth that youth profile in a positive light.
So schools have been invited?
Yes.
And the response that you've gotten so far, I mean, you would have had to notice, they would have provided notifications in terms of confirming whether they were going to be there or not.
I had schools such as Arima Central saying that they're bringing 44 students plus teachers and stuff. Some schools bring in 15 students, and so we have not put a cap on this, because the venue can hold I think 1,500 persons. So we want persons to come out to the event. It starts at 10 o'clock this morning at the UWI SPEC in St Augustine, and it's from 10 to 5. So we have a formal program from 10 to 12. His Excellency the President Anthony Carmona will be in attendance. Canadian High Commissioner, the Minister of Education Anthony Garcia will be there. We've invited the Chairman of the Tuna Puna-Piarco Regional Corporation, and a number of other dignitaries. Also, the University of the West Indies, the Guild of Students, all guilds from the 4 campuses will have representation at this event today. So it's really centered on young people and those who aid young people in their day-to-day, who are in positions of influence, who need to come and hear what exactly young people want to get out of Trinidad and Tobago, but also what they want to put into Trinidad and Tobago. And that is the kind of conversation we need. People think that young people are just so entitled. And I was giving this this reference the other day. If it is that you're accustomed to having hot and cold water in your house, and then you go by your family, let's say in the country, and they don't have hot water, and you are feeling as though, well, okay, shouldn't you all have water? It's not a matter of entitlement, but you're accustomed to certain things. So therefore, the young people of this generation are accustomed to certain technologies, access to information. So when you look at older generations thinking that, well, young people are just entitled and things such as gay, this and the other, if this is what we know and this is what we are accustomed to, we're simply saying that, okay, we have certain expectations based on our financial ability, because we have a number of resources, based on things that we're seeing in the country. We know we can get better out of what we have. So it's not entitlement, but a real expectation. It's just that resources are not managed the way they ought to be. And this is comes on right before budget. So we want some recommendations going towards the Minister of Finance and the Economy to assist. It will be too late for these to go into the budget, but we want things to be considered as well when it comes to investment in youth.
Well, you raised the point of the budget, and I know that you have issues in terms of funding. Tell us a little bit about some of those problems, and I know that you would have met with the Prime Minister, conversations with the Prime Minister. Yes. You raised an issue with him, and then you followed up on it. Tell us, what issue did you raise, and what was the response like?
So my question to the Prime Minister was, what was his government's position when it comes to looking at the importance of investing in young people, or giving young people that agency and authority they require to be good contributing citizens to this country. And the Prime Minister was alluding to a number of projects being in place to assist young people. But I think what people fail to understand is that there needs to be more than just the gate and investments in education and sport. There are many young people who are not interested in sport whatsoever. You have the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs, but it seems for all intents and purposes that it's the Ministry of Sports. So what we think may be a good recommendation is that, one, you either revert to that concept of sport, gender, sport and youth affairs, gender, youth and child affairs, and that can be under the office of the Prime Minister, or education and youth. Because when you look at the education sector, education ministry really responds to primary school, secondary school, tertiary education. So you have a wide catchment of young people, and therefore the bureaucracy to implement some youth projects would not be as heavy because it's an internal matter. Nonetheless, we think that investments have gone to the wrong sectors, with the expectation that young people must now, we've invested so much in you, therefore you must now give value for money. But when we look at GATE, for instance, how can you realistically expect young people to contribute after they've completed GATE when the opportunities don't exist? Now, there are many young people who are creating opportunities for themselves, but when you look at the systems and the bureaucracy, there is not ease of access to, let's say, start your business in the manner in which you would want to do so, or to really enhance that creativity or innovation that you may have as an individual. So we want systems to be revised. We want there to be a youth investment, a youth innovation fund, so that young people who have ideas, who knows, we might have the next person to start a Google or a Facebook or an Apple coming from Trinidad and Tobago, but they don't have the systems and support mechanisms to really put that forward.
I want to talk a little bit about your upcoming trip to Jamaica. Tell us about that.
Now, I'm going to Jamaica for the Caribbean Youth Leadership Summit, and this is the second one that I'll be attending. Now, the difference is this year I'm running for the chairmanship of that CRIC, the Caribbean Regional Youth Council. So we're going to Jamaica. You have two other young people on contesting positions. That will be Kendall Vincent and Kimberly Gilbert. And one of the challenges that the three of us were facing is funding. It's simply a ticket to get to Jamaica to represent this country. I know that the ministry is now trying to step in, but this is next week that we have to go there. So we want systems to be put in place when it comes to travel for good intentions to be easily accessible. And this is something that we've not had for quite some time. We don't have a Caribbean a CARICOM Youth Ambassador, a UN Youth Ambassador, or a Commonwealth Youth Ambassador who has been installed in a transparent and public way. So things like this we want to fix. And if we as young people in Trinidad and Tobago don't get to add our voices to these regional and international forums, then we have no representation there. And Trinidad and Tobago continues to be left behind when it comes to that whole youth movement.
Well, best of luck on your trip, Nikoli.
Thank you very much.